Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, a little bit of laughter, because as we know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our amazing Fresh Starts experts. Alex, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Hi, I'm Alex. I run a private practice here on Long Island where I specialize in perinatal mental health. So, prenatal and postpartum specifically, which encompasses obviously all new moms, including ones that get divorced.
Yeah, let's talk about it because I think that there's divorce itself is very stigmatized still, right? And a lot of shame around divorce. And then you kind of throw into the mix, what about like new moms who choose to get divorced or have the situation that they are in a divorce or whatever? You see a lot of times, especially like on social media, maybe a new mom with a little tiny baby or pregnant, right? And she's talking about getting divorced and people are like shocked, right? So first of all, I would love to ask you, Alex, like, does this happen? Like, is it possible to get divorced when you're like a new mom?
Yeah, of course. I think that, divorce happens at any point in our life, right? It would be silly of us to think that divorce has to fit perfectly into this like time slot. Like, okay, now's the time where it's okay to get divorced. And I think to your point, we're seeing more and more women feeling maybe empowered to say, it might not be the ideal time to get divorced. It's okay to be divorced when I'm about to have a baby or right after having a baby because I'm going to choose myself and my family at the same time. And I think it's great that we're going to talk about destigmatizing that
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Okay, so if somebody's listening to this and they're like, I'm in this situation, I just had a baby, and this is not the marriage I thought I was going to be in. I would like a divorce. What would be like the first step for a new mom? Because let's be honest, we're both moms. New
Yeah.
motherhood is like in itself a life transformation. So is it like worth it to take on that second life transformation? And how do you even get started in that process?
Yeah. I think anything is worth it. And again, it's not necessarily if you could about it being the postpartum period, right? What we like to talk about in postpartum therapy specifically is how can you go through this transition, especially if it's your first, while also honoring yourself
Mm.
and all the parts of you. So it's okay to be a new mom and to be struggling and feel all those things that come with it. But you're also a woman and a person. And if your partnership isn't working for you anymore, it's okay to make a choice in that arena while also respecting your new mom arena. And sometimes those things overlap and it's actually probably for the best for both, right?
Mm.
If you're not taking care of yourself as a new mom, mentally, health wise, all the things that come with that sleep, food,
Yep.
nourishment,
Yep.
how could you possibly take care of your baby? And that's one of the most important things I like to highlight in therapy.
Okay, so I always recommend when a friend comes to me or whatever, and they're considering divorce, my first question always is, do you have a therapist, right?
Yeah.
Because you definitely need a therapist. We've done many podcast episodes about that, when you're going through divorce, which is why we have so many wonderful therapists over at Fresh Starts. So no, like joking aside, you really do need a therapist when you're a new mom, right? Going through a divorce. So let's say maybe you don't have a therapist and you're a new mom considering a divorce. When you get in touch with a therapist, let's say you come to Fresh Starts and you find you, Alex, right?
Mhm.
What could somebody say when they call you to be like, I have all this shit show going on, like I need help?
Yeah. Everyone's journey is unique, right? But I think you highlighted it. I'm going through something life changing. Not only am I entering this new role of motherhood that I've, never experienced before for a lot of us, but I'm also really struggling in my partnership. It's not the way I thought it was going to be, right?
Yeah.
How can I work through this? Whether the goal is maybe not divorce at first and you get there, or the goal is divorce and you're not sure where to begin, where to start, to your point, right?
Mhm.
How can we emotionally support you to know that all those normal feelings that come in that postpartum, like fourth trimester moment, you know, guilt, anxiety, sometimes depression, sometimes like obsessions, right?
Mhm.
How are they adding to the moment? How are they changing the moment? How can we move through it in a way that you're going to look back and be like, I did not only what's best for me,
Right.
but also what's best for my baby?
So as a therapist, how can you support both, which I love that you said this, like both the woman as a mother and the woman as a potentially divorced woman or a woman going through a life change? How can like one therapist support both sides of that person?
Oh, I think that's a great question. For me personally, like in my own practice, it's about looking at people holistically, right? You're not just a mom, you're not just a woman or a wife, right? Like you're a whole person. We're
Right.
we're pizza pies. There's a lot of slices to us,
I love
you
that.
know? And sometimes the slice is delicious on its own and sometimes you need the whole pizza. How can you integrate, and pull out at the same time? If that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think it's, someone comes and sits down on my proverbial couch,
Yep.
whether it's in person or on Zoom,
Yep.
and we talk about that. Where do you need support the most? And I think a lot of times in new motherhood, it's in all arenas. We're overwhelmed. We're sleep deprived. We're
Yep.
maybe not always considering ourselves first. We're taking
Yeah.
care of a new baby.
Yep.
Um, we just need support, both therapeutically and friends and all
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, and it's just nice to know that there's, like, a safe place, right, that you can go
Mhm.
to talk about all of that. But, I mean, I guess for people listening, like, have you seen women go through this process?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that we do work in the perinatal space is normalizing all these experiences, right? Social media is amazing. Podcasts like this are amazing because we are actually having conversations that maybe weren't having before. Or if they
Yeah.
were, they're like really in small circles. And now we can bring it to masses and talk about how this is normal. I mean, a lot of times what people are looking for is just that validation that it's normal to experience these things. It is normal to feel like your relationship's falling apart and not working for you while you're going through this transition.
Yeah.
It's normal to feel like you need extra support therapeutically with a therapist, and it's not cutting it just to have a friend say it's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Absolutely, and, like, also normalizing that it may not end in divorce either, right? You
yep.
may come to talk to you as a therapist, with for therapy and work on whatever you need to work on, especially in that new motherhood period. So, where do you work? How do you work if people are listening to this and would like to work with you?
Yeah. So I am based on Long Island in Huntington. I have an office here, but I also work virtually with anyone who lives in New York. So I could do sessions over Zoom as well. And I'm looking to expand into other states very soon to offer
Exciting.
virtual sessions to other people in other states.
Yeah, amazing.
And you can find me on Alma. It's a platform where you can look up therapists that hopefully you match with. And that's where I meet most of my clients.
I love that, I love that, and of course, you can, hear more from Alex and see more of her press pieces and all the good stuff she does over at Fresh Starts because 'cause we're so happy she's part of the community. If somebody's listening to this and they're going through a divorce, what would be some words of encouragement that you could leave with them?
I think paramount again is that what you're experiencing is normal. It's okay to not feel validated or to feel like it's not working for you anymore. And let's talk about how divorce is it's okay. We don't need to be in a partnership to be successful as mothers. If you choose to remain, that's also okay, but don't put the shame that's surrounding divorce on yourself. That's not yours.
It's not yours, I love that, I love that, and I'm gonna take that pizza pie, metaphor with me all day, I love that. Thank you so much for being here, Alex.
Have a great day. I was so happy to be here.
Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.